The hybrid athlete advantage. So most people think that you need to pick just one of these modalities, right? So they might think that you might just need to just run and focus on that, or that you are a lifter and just lift, right? Lifters will think, oh, well, if I run, I lose my gains. Or runners think like, oh, if I start lifting, I'll be too heavy and I'll be immobile and I won't be able to run as fast. And I actually believe that both of these are false. So what if you just stopped choosing which discipline to go down and just do one and be, putting yourself in a box and start training like a complete human, right? So why not do hybrid training, right? It's really strength plus endurance, right? And so really the strength training, what that does is it helps build up the robustness and the power and the durability that you need. And then the running will be able to build this overall engine that can allow you to go longer, go faster, and tune up your aerobic system, right? And the thing is, these two systems that strength training builds and then that aerobic, right, endurance, whether it's running, cycling, or swimming, or whatever endurance modality, they can actually combine and work together, right? And so when you combine both these systems, like something really incredible happens, right? So like you really unlock a level of performance that most people can never touch, right? So most people aren't even good at any one of these, right? So just imagine being good at both strength and endurance. You'll really stand above the rest, and you actually like are like a rare athlete. Like, like sure, you might not be a fast, super fast Olympic endurance runner, or you might not be some roided out bodybuilder guy or power lifter or Olympic lifter or anything like that. But if you can just become at an advanced level at each of these different disciplines, right? Both endurance and strength, you're just going to be a cut above the rest, right? And so here's the problem with that, single modality type of training, right? So for example, runners, they'll often lack the strength, durability, and robustness. And then lifters will often lack, the conditioning, the endurance, the aerobic health, longevity. You want to be able to live long. And really each camp is kind of missing half of the equation, right? So when you look at it, like most endurance athletes, they have these really good aerobic engines, right? They can, run, really fast for really far, and that's very impressive. But they're lacking that, just poor mobility, weak connective tissues. They're just lacking that strength and power. They can often be injury prone because they're not building out. They don't have really strong and dense bones and muscles. And so it can leave you to be injury prone. You can actually start building a lot of muscle imbalances. And then let's just be honest, like their physique just doesn't look great. I'll be honest. And one thing that's important for me was, I was a track athlete back in my day. And when I was just starting off, like I had a little bit of muscle, but it wasn't anything like I have now. And let's be honest, when you're younger, like you want to be like have a nice physique for the girls, right? And then even the girls, the women, right? The women want to have nice physiques as well, right? Like they want to build up their bodies as well. And so, not having the greatest physique, even though you might be really fast and good in your sport, which is great. And I think that's important if you're going to be like a professional athlete. But let's be real, most of us aren't going to be these professional Olympic athletes. And so we kind of want to build, good physiques along the way and feel strong and powerful within our body, right? But then on the other hand, if you just lift, right, like you won't have that conditioning, that endurance, right? You're not really, your heart and aerobic health isn't intact. You might be very immobile, and you're also going to be missing out on a lot of great fat burning capabilities that endurance training can give you. And endurance training also gives you an amazing tool to be able to lean out faster, right? And so if you don't do any kind of aerobic or endurance conditioning, you're missing out on a lot of abilities to like be able to stay lean while you're building that muscle. Okay. So, what really happens, right, when you choose the hybrid athlete lifestyle and you combine strength and endurance together? So you actually now are able to utilize both these systems and have them kind of work together. And so, for example, if you are a lifter and you start doing aerobic conditioning, that aerobic conditioning actually will help you be able to increase like recovery, like within the same lifting workout that you do. Like your recovery in between sets actually gets better. And then even when you're recovering in general, like from day to day, like your overall ability to recover from your training gets better when you have a really strong aerobic base and conditioning. And the great thing too is if you're a runner and you start lifting, you actually, your strength and the power that you get, your running economy and efficiency increases, and you actually become more resilient and are able to train harder because you're less injury prone, which is huge, right? And the great thing is with the endurance training, you're building these slow twitch type 1 type of muscle fibers. And then with the lifting, you're building these more kind of fast twitch type 2 anaerobic type of system muscle fibers. And you're building both of these energy systems at the same time. They both had different benefits, right? So, type 1 aerobic conditioning, you are building up that endurance base, and being able to kind of burn fat for fuel and be more efficient with your energy system. And then with the type 2 or anaerobic system, you're building up more of that strength, that power, that speed. And so these both actually help, and you actually are a more complete, well-rounded person and athlete when you do that. And then the great thing is, in general, when you're combining both of these training modalities together, you actually are going to have a lot better harmonies, as long as you're not overtraining, right? So if you are overtraining with hybrid athlete training and you're not recovering properly, you're not eating properly, you're not sleeping properly, or you're just like overly mentally stressed, then yeah, your hormones are going to be out of whack. But if you have the proper, kind of lifestyle, like, nutrition, and you're recovering properly, your overall hormones will be better than if you just did endurance training or if you just did strength training. And your overall body composition will be better as well. So like you'll be simultaneously having enough muscle mass and then also stay lean, which is amazing. And I call it like you'll actually kind of have that kind of Olympic sprinter kind of look. And in my opinion, they have some of the best physiques in the world, in my opinion. They just look super capable and strong and lean. And that's kind of the look that we're going for. And a lot of hybrid athletes, I think they have really amazing physiques as well. So the other thing too is when you're doing these two training modalities, there's also a lot of mental benefits, right? So for example, with running, right, it kind of builds up like a lot of discipline, resilience, and running in general is just like really good for the brain, right? Like I think with running, like you get the natural runner's high. It tends to reduce like anxiety and depression. And then even with like, the strength training, it also has some of those benefits as well. But when you're in the gym and you're lifting and you're building strength and you're building muscle, it's kind of helps you build up this like level of confidence and presence within yourself. And so what this combination does, it helps kind of ground you in like you're calm, you feel calm and capable. And so, the mental benefits of being able to do both, like you just feel like just such like a capable person. Like you're just walking around knowing like, man, like I'm just a well-rounded athlete. Like there's no better feeling than that. Being able to walk around just feeling like, man, like I'm just a weapon right now. Like I feel great. And the last thing as well is if you're somebody that wants to live a long time, right? So like longevity, and then also live that lifespan to the fullest, right? So developing your health span. Hybrid athlete training is incredible, right? So for example, in terms of longevity and health span, your VO2 max is actually one of the greatest indicators for really like how long you're going to live, and also the amount of muscle mass that you have, and also your aerobic capabilities as well. And so for example, with aerobic health, that's the aerobic health and the VO2 max, that's going to be one of the top indicators for developing your lifespan. And then your muscle mass also as well is in terms of like health span, right? Because as you start to age over time, you naturally start to lose muscle mass, and that's normal. But if in your teens, 20s, 30s, and 40s, and hell, even 50s, if you start really training and keeping yourself together, and you start building up some muscle mass, you're kind of building that like having that muscle is kind of like an insurance policy, and it allows you to kind of age more gracefully and be able to live longer. Because one of the reasons why many people tend to die in their later years is or not be able to kind of live like a really great life when they're old is because they don't have a lot of muscle mass to be able to just like do things, which is why a lot of old people kind of die when they like have like a tragic fall, for example. So in terms of like having the best longevity and health span you can get, if you can have strength and endurance, you're just gonna be able to live longer and age more gracefully. So that's hybrid training, right? It's not really about being the best at any one thing. It's not about being the fastest or the strongest. It's really about being the most capable version of yourself and just really being a complete athlete and just a human capable of just like raw performance. If you're an athlete, hybrid athlete, and you can run far, you can run fast, you can lift heavy, you're durable, you're lean, you're healthy, you can do it year round. In my opinion, I think this is just one of the best ways to train, and I really enjoy it. So I hope this has motivated you to do hybrid training and stick to it and take it serious. And continue to train like this, and we'll move on and figure out how to build your hybrid foundation. So stay tuned for more. Peace.